she was asked about her son, would answer either that he owned a shoe factory or that he worked in one. No one could get a straight answer as to whether he was someone who hired factory workers or a worker himself. In any case, he was clearly not involved in the village's main source of income, that of working in the fields. Maybe things have changed, but back then, farmers didn't ride around on motorcycles wearing helmets. And while the villagers may have long forgotten the baby's rough-spoken grandmother or the melancholy mother, they must remember her tall father and his rakish gaze. His motorcycle pierced the dawn's silence on his way to work. How could they ever forget that strange sound, that flashing light, racing like a wild animal through the darkness? The Yees despised the noise of the machine as it ripped through the main village, but there was no way they could prevent him from riding that motorcycle. He wasn't like the other villagers, who could be ordered around. Nor was he one to care about what people thought about him. So anyone who might bring it up would be left embarrassed by their own indignation. Better to just bear the noise. If anything, his pomade and his leather gloves and jacket became something of a fad. And the villagers' interest in the family had as much to do with the man's wife as his motorcycle. She was a rare beauty, all the more so in this relatively isolated hamlet. Although her delicate face and clear skin would have attracted stares in any region. Black hair that shone softly in the sunlight, and well-balanced features that drew a smile from anyone who happened to glance her way. She had a poignant, tragic quality, shared by all women whose face, neck, waist, and legs seemed to flow in an unbroken line. Tragedy resided not only in her appearance, but also her life. Generation after generation. Her ancestors had owned 1,000 Pyongan apple orchards until her father had fallen into gambling and lost it all. Her family had been relegated to a rented room in the mountains, and she had to drop out of middle school just as soon as she'd started. She had once aspired to teach at a girls' school. Instead, she grew into womanhood in that rented room. Her family's finances showed no signs of recovering, despite all their frugality and saving. Her only way out was marriage. And surely her now husband had not planned to neglect her from the beginning. Originally, he was so smitten with her that it wouldn't have mattered even if she'd been carrying another man's child. But when the little girl named Sun is born, Sun's father, for whatever reason, begins to distance himself from his wife. Does this story seem unfamiliar or extraordinary? It shouldn't. For countless generations, women have suffered and wasted away in strange rooms just like this baby's mother. Just as the flowers lighting up the courtyard begin to wilt, the father leaves on his motorcycle early one morning like always, except that this time he does not return for over 9 years, and the singular sound of the motorcycle ceases to be heard in the village. The bewildered, abandoned woman is left with only her child and the child's grandmother. With no land to farm, and in order to support her daughter and mother-in-law, the woman ventures into town and learns hairdressing. As a person whose appearance always drew attention, it somehow fits that she becomes someone with hands that reek of perm chemicals. With no money to set up a real shop, the child's mother carries curling irons, scissors, and large combs from house to house, perming, curling, and cutting hair cheap. Her unhappiness stems not so much from the work, from lugging her implements door to door, but rather from her contentious relationship with her mother-in-law. Sun grows up listening to the two of them arguing over their meals, at the well, in the kitchen, or on the porch, the ruckus familiar as a lullaby. One day, the child leaves behind the sound of their fighting and sets out looking for her friend Name. The two little girls amuse themselves easily. They sweep ants into floor cracks and burn them.